Hi, my name is Sarah Mannion and welcome to my EDB150 Assessment Task 3 video. Throughout this unit, I've had the opportunity to participate in a marking and quality assurance exercise with a group of my peers, consisting of Ryan Cracknell, Sydney Hamnett, Adrienne Leeson-Smith and Megan Yeager. The overall purpose of quality assurance, such as the one performed in this unit, is to ensure fair, consistent and defensible judgments about student achievement. Quality assurance comprises of multiple steps, including establishing expectations, ensuring consistent understanding, comparing and resolving ratings, and finally, feedback and feed forward. In the exercise, my group and I examined 3 assessment samples from an English unit, whereby students were tasked with creating an analytical essay in response to a film and novel. Prior to the quality assurance meeting occurring, each group member went away and marked the samples individually. We kick-started our professional conversation by establishing expectations and collaboratively adopted the goal that we would grant appropriate grades to each sample, whilst being mindful that differences in perspectives may arise and be addressed. Moving forward, my group and I adhered to the second phase of the quality assurance process, which is ensuring consistent understanding by not only delving into the task itself together, but also the criteria. The third step of quality assurance is to both compare samples and to resolve ratings by reaching a consensus. In this phase of the process, I was faced with altering some of the grades I had initially awarded after my group members put forth their arguments for their own grades.
Yeah,
So
just
in the interest of time, I'm happy to say that it's a C because it is missing that real strong thesis at the start and because it's missing the conclusion, which by this stage they should be able to put in their analytical essay. So we're all happy to agree on C. So we'll move on to the second. With that being said, there were other moments throughout the exercise where I was able to put forward my own argument about a grade, after which my group members agreed with what I had stated.
I think something to consider too that maybe might sway in favour of the C+ instead of the B-. Yes, they've been analytical, but we've also put them as a C for the cohesive ties and the formal writing tone, which are both important parts of analytical writing. So
Finally, in the feedback and feed forward stage, my group members and I were able to reflect on the quality assurance meeting and report on both positive and negative components of the experience.
I think the biggest thing that I've kind of taken away from this, and something that I'll be really careful in considering later on in my practice and as I go through the degree and as I become a teacher, is really, really looking at the words in the task sheet and the differences.
Whilst on my professional experience this semester, I conversed with practicing educators about the quality assurance process they employ within the school. This allowed me to identify both similarities and differences between what the school enacts and what my group and I had performed. The most profound similarities that I gathered is that in both cases, multiple people from the same discipline are required to share and deliberate on grades. In addition to this, from the conversation with educators, it is incredibly common to have differing opinions brought forward. Similarly to my own group's quality assurance meeting, it isn't always obvious or instantaneous reaching a verdict. Furthermore, constant referral back to the task sheet and criteria matrix is crucial in making fair judgments during marking. This is something that my group and I enacted regularly throughout our meeting, especially when 2 viewpoints on a mark were being debated. Although there were similarities in these areas, I also gathered some areas of difference between the process of the school and the process my group and I followed. Firstly, at my practicum school, there had been moments where a verdict could not be reached, in which case the sample is forwarded to the head of department to make a final decision. My group and I did not implement this, as consensus was always reached and there was an absence of an English head of department in our case. Moreover, I was informed that quality assurance in schools happens in both formal and informal settings. Teachers often swap work outside of quality assurance meetings to gain the opinion of others, which is again something my group and I did not participate in. Finally, in quality assurance sessions at my professional experience school, teachers bring in samples of an A through a D standard of work to ensure grading across all achievement levels is standardised. My group and I did not complete our quality assurance in this fashion, as the samples we were given were representative of only a couple of standards of achievement. The quality assurance process is essential for a host of reasons and is influenced by various parties, including educators, students and parents. Quality assurance allows educators to formulate assessment, document what is necessary for students to demonstrate success, and to collaborate in order to justly and reliably determine whether the targeted learning has been achieved. Participating in quality assurance and coming to a consensus of the achievement of students then informs educators on whether the educational experiences provided throughout the unit were beneficial in producing targeted outcomes. Resultantly, adjustments can be made for future lessons to ensure these outcomes are met. This ties with the next reason for why quality assurance is so important, as through strengthening instruction and assessment validity and consistency, student outcomes should improve. Not only will students' learning outcomes improve, but they will feel more secure in knowing that they are receiving marks that are genuinely representative of their level of achievement. Additionally, quality assurance allows teachers to make defensible statements about a student's achievements to individuals who are just as invested in their educational outcomes, their parents. By having concrete evidence of learning that has robustly been examined by multiple educators who reached a consensus, parents are far more likely to openly comprehend the information. If these reasons are not enough, it is actually a requirement for educators to engage in quality assurance in order to meet standards outlined in the Australian Professional Standards for Teachers. Standard 5.3, for example, states that educators must demonstrate understanding of assessment moderation and its application to support consistent and comparable judgments of learning. With this in mind, it becomes clear that quality assurance isn't simply beneficial, but an obligation that educators must fulfil. After participating in a quality assurance exercise and speaking with practicing educators during my professional experience, I've begun devising strategies that I hope to eventually implement to help me make consistent, comparable and defensible judgments of student learning. Firstly, I'll actively seek guidance from experienced teachers in informal environments as I begin marking student work. It is imperative that I'm able to both put forth my opinions and listen to the opinions of others, so when I'm faced with formal quality assurance sessions, I'm both prepared and confident. Furthermore, studies have shown that marking student work without the presence of quality assurance is often unsatisfactory in providing feedback on student performance and in informing subsequent work. To combat this, I'll endeavour to listen attentively and make notes during quality assurance meetings to then provide detailed feedback to students and to create meaningful assessments going forth. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, I hope to employ quality assurance in every aspect of my teaching as I progress into my practice. Although engaging in quality assurance at the assessment phase of learning is imperative, I believe it's also vital to utilise quality assurance during curriculum-aligned unit creations, during the unit of work as formative assessment is performed, and in the administration and reporting phase of summative assessment. This ongoing quality assurance gives more opportunity for staff to ensure their judgments of student work are consistent, comparable, and defensible. Although these are some of the strategies I hope to utilise eventually as an educator, I'm not naive to the fact that I'll continue learning and developing my skills as I go on. It is my plan to immerse myself in as many experiences as possible to help me develop my skills in participating in effective quality assurance sessions. Thank you.